Hi there, friends. Well, there is a chill in the air right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I have on my fall sweater, and that means it's time to start looking ahead because it's almost Christmas. And just in time, there's a brand new movie called Christmas at the Cabin. And today we are going to have a conversation with a young woman who is an actress and a screenwriter. She both wrote and starred in this darling movie, Christmas at the Cabin. We are going to talk to Marianne Holland today to find out all about this brand new movie coming out in theaters November 14 and 15. My name is Jean Thomason, and this is Momentum Influencers Network. Hello, friends, and as promised, I am right here with a writer and an actor, and we are going to talk to Marianne Holland about her brand new movie called Christmas at the Cabin. Marianne, welcome to Insight Studios. Welcome to Momentum Influencers Network. We're so glad to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege.
Absolutely. Well, I saw your movie and want you to know that I thought it was so much fun, and you are adorable, especially
Oh,
because you're like one of the main characters, and I loved the way that you told this story through film. So I want you to just tell us and our listeners, how did you have this idea for this particular screenplay, that you wrote it and followed through, and you even directed and starred in it and all the things?
well,
What,
I didn't
how
direct
amazing.
it. I only
Oh,
wrote it
sorry.
and acted in it.
Okay,
But we had a fabulous director
great.
named Tori. She was just incredible. She was an amazing gift to us, Tori Hunter. But the way that it happened was I am an actress, and as you know, this industry is really difficult. It's really hard to break in, and my husband and I moved to Miami, and we were able to put our kids into preschool and daycare. And I finally had some brain space and time to be by myself. And I said, Lord, what do you want me to do here? I'm not in LA anymore. I don't have all the opportunities as an actor.
Right.
And he said, just write. And I said, well, I don't know how to write, Lord. And then I started a little scene and just thought, I'll write something for a friend and myself to film in a cabin because that's cheap and easy. Or so I thought. And then he just kept telling me to write more and write more. And I was getting inspired. And I said, but Lord, I'm not a writer. And I said, okay, if you want me to write, you tell me what to write and I'll be your fingertips and I'll do what you want me to.
Wow.
And so I just kind of really obeyed what I felt like he was calling me to do. And, when Paul writes to Timothy, don't let anyone despise you because you're young, I felt that don't let anyone despise you because you're new. And just really felt that call and drive to just do it. And I invited some friends of mine to read through it with me, and they were inspired, and so I was inspired, and I said, well, Lord, I would love for this to get made, but you know me, you know who you made me to be, and you didn't make me to be everything. And so I can write it and I can act, but I need somebody to partner alongside me and come alongside me as a producer.
Sure.
That day that I prayed that, Sharon Oliphant, who plays my sister in the film, she texted and said, hey, I don't want to overstep, but I would love to see if I could produce this with you. And it was like the Lord, I said, did God just tell you to ask me that? She said, this was just what she felt led to do. And she was instrumental in getting us distribution and funding through Faith Channel. This was their first original feature film that they backed. And we were so grateful to just be in places where we all said yes. And we all were kind of in a new boat, and we all said, let's make this happen. And the Lord orchestrated it. I mean, I had that table read with my friends December of last year. That's 10 months ago. And then Faith Channel came on board and had their funding in April. We filmed in May, and now it's coming out in November. And it's just been incredible.
I know a little bit about filming, and that's kind of unheard of as far as a timeline goes. Quite amazing that you could get your funding and get everything ready to go and all your everybody lined up, because it takes a giant team to make a film. And so where did you go? Because it was beautiful in the mountains, right?
Thank you.
What was
Yeah,
your
because we
location?
had to do it so late in the season. One of the only places left in the States was Breckenridge, Colorado, because it still had snow in May. And so John Stewart, the CEO of Faith Channel, he was incredible and was able to get us the locations in Breckenridge. We secured our locations and our cabins for the crew and the cast, and it was an amazing experience to film up there.
Oh my God. Okay, so you play this darling, quirky character. So my question is, how much like you is your character in the movie?
I like to say that Marianne is a recovering Michelle.
Oh, whoosh!
Yeah.
That's good. Glad you're recovering.
Yes. Michelle is a very type A perfectionist, wants everything to be perfect, and doesn't know that necessarily the enemy might lie within herself, and discovers that through the film, realizing that maybe not everyone surrounding her is always at fault. Maybe she needs to deal with some of the things that she has going on. And I think that I come from a proper type A family, and I'm having to let go of my control and just find peace. And my husband of 20 years now, he has been instrumental to my peace, as well as the Lord, of course. But he is just a kind, gentle human who has made me more gentle, I think.
So your real life husband is very much like Josh, your on-screen husband, then, would you say?
Sure, in a few ways, yeah.
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 I thought you wrote him as very kind, understanding, super patient.
Yeah.
As I watched, I was thinking to myself, not all men are this way, and I loved his kindness, but you could tell the gentleness of the Lord in his life helped him to be kind toward Michelle and all that she was going through, and love her regardless. And I really appreciated the way that you wrote that.
Thank you. Thank you. It was actually a challenge to film it because I thought, oh my goodness, I'm so angry all the time. I'm so like, how will people like her? And then I remembered an interview with Viola Davis where she was talking about how it's good for people to see the ugly, because sometimes people identify with that ugly and they can see that that is like, they can identify with that. And so I wanted to not shy away from her maybe being unlikable at some points, because we're not all pleasant, beautiful human delights all the time. Sometimes we fall and fail, and I wanted to show, that is one of the things about this film, is I wanted to show the real about human beings, not just the cookie cutter Christmas perfection that often films are, but really, really show the depth of humanity.
Okay, I have this question because I don't know what I thought, but the man who rescues Michelle and takes her back to the cabin and gives her a great bowl of stew or soup or whatever. Tell me about your thoughts about him.
He is played by the amazing Todd Terry, who is just a dream to work with. And I had this vision of this man on a horse, and I didn't know if he was an angel or if he was a ranger who just happened to be there, or if he's someone that the Lord sent. It's kind of left up to the audience to think what they will of who he is, and but he is a gentle, wise person who instills some wisdom to Michelle when she really needs it.
Okay, so I'm thinking, the world loves the Hallmark Christmas movie world, and there's so many shows to watch, and most of them are typical rom-coms. So what makes this different?
I think Christmas in the Cabin is different because it is seeker friendly, and it is laugh out loud comedy, and it does not have your typical structure of a Hallmark film, and it has realism of the characters dealing with real stuff. We deal with alcoholism, and we deal with a crisis of faith, and we deal with marital issues, and and four characters boiling over in a closed, contained space with nowhere to go. And how do we as individuals deal with that? It's kind of like, a reality show like Big Brother or The Bachelor or something, where you just have nowhere to go and you're just stuck together. And if you are coming at it from a faith-based perspective, how do you deal with that? What does your emotions, your faith do in that situation? So I think it's quite different from other Christmas stories. Of course, we have the beautiful Christmas trees and the music. We have some amazing new original music from Lola Bliss. And Ali Lohan, she has a song in this as well. And so we just have a beautiful score, and I think it's going to be a delight.
Well, I love this question that your publishers gave me that says, what can we learn from our pasts and our experiences, the highs and lows, and how can we surrender them to God like Poppy is learning to do? What would you say about that?
Ooh, what a good question.
I know, it is.
I think we can have struggles internally and externally, and we can think that we have to handle them. And we can think that there is just a solution and we need to find the solution and fix the problem. But I think that with her, she realizes that her problem is bigger than what she can deal with, and she needs a community around her. And a faith in the Lord is what is really going to help you find that grace for yourself, and the grace to understand that sometimes problems take a long time to fix, and sometimes they get fixed right away. And only the Lord can do all the miraculous healing that He does. And yeah, I'm hopeful that people can see that there is hope at the end of a really difficult journey.
I think that's very well said, and it blessed me, I would say, just that Josh, near the end, when he's having the conversation with Michelle about her struggles, and she's being honest and so vulnerable and asking forgiveness and disappointed in herself, as we all become disappointed in ourselves sometimes in our lives. Josh is the one who encourages her to talk to somebody, and to go after this situation in such a way that she could make some positive change in her life, because it's in her heart to do that. And that's something you don't see in most movies, and just that others would, that people would encourage one another necessarily to take care of themselves. And the same was true for Poppy. Guy was encouraging Poppy, are you in a group? Are you getting some help? And I noticed that. I thought that was very well written.
Thank you. I think so often if we have these gaping wounds in our emotional life, we just think we can just walk around with it. But if you have a gaping wound on your physical body, you're going to go and fix it. And I think the more wounded we are, the uglier we will become almost. And we're not able to contain our emotions, and not even just that, but regulate ourselves. And so I think talking to somebody is really important. And I think it's something that maybe in our Christian circles we don't allow for so much, because we think, we have the Bible, that is the answer, and it is the answer, but sometimes we need that extra support to come alongside us and lift us up and build us up and disciple us through what we're going through.
We are so excited for the opportunity to see Christmas at the Cabin. So tell us, I know it's coming out in theaters, when does that happen?
November 14th and 15th, it comes out in theaters. And then around Thanksgiving, you can get it for purchase on iTunes and Amazon. And after that, it'll come out on faithchannel.com.
So thank you again, Marianne. Thanks for being with us. Congratulations on writing and starring in your very first feature film. That's amazing. And we look forward to see whatever you do even next. And I hope I get to talk to you again after you do your next project. Thanks for being with us today at Momentum Influencers Network. Bye. God bless you.